Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I'm like a little kid. I get excited. Like I'm sitting here getting excited for what she's going to do. She's done it quite a few times before when we've gotten together here. She is a psychic medium and connects with the other side, connects with your life, brings you insight, sometimes closure. She sees things. Shannon Dee sees things. She's back with us. How are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful, wonderful. Getting ready to move to some new digs. The energy has been super crazy off the charts. It's been a very wonderful, humbling experience, and my clients have just been almost brings me to tears. They've been wonderful,
Hmm.
and it's been wonderful. So the readings have been amazing,
Do you think
amazing.
there's something with the universe and the energy at this time? Like yesterday was 888, August 8th, and then if you add 2024 or multiply, you come up with an 8. They say it's a magical day. We're also in a Mercury retrograde, just digging into that. Do you think there's something interesting universally, astrologically going on right now?
Honestly, I feel like there's a lot of electric in the air.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of people are becoming very aware of the universe and what it does, and very very aware that there's things to do with numbers, things to do with the other side. And people are becoming more aware of things like Mercury retrograde
Mm,
and things.
yeah.
I do. I see it more, and I'm running into more people who are very much moved from skeptical to less skeptical. I'm not saying
Mm,
they're flipping to the other side, a
right.
little bit less
Yeah,
skeptical.
that more of a maybe an open mind to there's something else out there, something that supports. Let's go to Yvette. Hi, Yvette.
Hi, how are you?
Well, say hi to Shannon.
Hey, Shannon, how are you doing?
How are you, Yvette?
I'm doing great. It's so awesome to meet you.
You too.
Thank
Um,
you.
did you have a female past that for some reason, um, I keep getting the name and the image of Carmen Miranda,
No.
with the high energy, um, salsa dancing, like to dance. Um, I feel like this person liked to cook, um, liked people in their kitchen. It was definitely a female. Um, um, I feel like she was good with, she liked the hustle and bustle of a lot of different connections with people. She was definitely a light connector. She um she was um I'm gonna say it was more like your grandmother on your mom's side than your mother, maybe. Did she pass?
No. My grandmother on my mom's side, yes.
She did. Okay, but your mom is still with us, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Um, your, did you know your maternal grandmother?
I did, yes. I was
Okay.
very young, but yes, I do remember her.
Was she um known to have a lot of high energy and like going to dances and things when she was younger?
No, not that I can recall.
Would this be your on your father's side?
No.
Hmm. Did your mom have a sister who passed or an aunt?
Um, not that I could recall now.
Hmm. This is definitely a female
Mm-hmm.
who's coming with a lot of positive energy around you. Um, she has darker hair that she curled under at the shoulder, when she would have been younger. Um,
When you say Carmen Miranda, give you I have it, but give us what you're seeing in terms of a description.
he, she has that energy of a Carmen Miranda. She was not, to me, she has beautiful lips, beautiful eyes. Um, she would have had darker hair when she was younger. Um, she just had that wonderful
Mhm.
energy about her.
A lot of
She would have
flavor,
had a
a lot of
very,
flavor.
yes,
Yeah.
had a nice figure, like had that really nice figure. And it's more of her energy about her. Um, really had your mom have a best friend who passed?
No, she doesn't. No.
Uh, I'm gonna have to make sure I get your information from Steve,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
because this woman's really coming through.
And challenging
Um,
too, because it sounds like Yvette, you were younger, and so
mhm,
maybe you don't know her as well, because
yes, because
Mm-hmm.
this is how your grandmother's explaining who she was when she was younger. Um, and that she was, as she got older, she slowed down. But I really
Mm-hmm.
feel this is your maternal grandmother. Um,
are you getting any messages, signs,
yeah,
vibes,
I
anything?
really feel it is. Let me see, let me ask her to move forward. She was not very tall, your maternal grandmother, correct?
Yes.
Okay, this definitely is her. She was a little bit thick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, did she use a cane at times? Like she had mobility issues?
Not that I remember.
Okay. She should have used a cane. She had heart issues.
Um, no, not that I know of.
When
Okay.
um when do you remember her, Yvette? Like what age were you back then?
I was probably around maybe I would say about 15 or 16,
Okay.
maybe 15.
Um, did she like to sit in the kitchen a lot? I keep seeing her in a straight back chair is why I'm asking.
She did.
Hmm. Um, she really observed a lot. I think she became quiet. Did her husband, your grandfather, pass before her?
Um, let me just think for a second. No, he passed after.
She became very quiet in her lifetime as she got
Mhm.
older. She became more observant. She didn't have a stroke or anything that impeded her speech, but she became much quieter as she got older.
Mhm.
And she would just become more observant and just watch. Um, your father, is he with us?
Yes.
were you closer to the other grandparents?
Yes, I was. To my
Because
dad's parents, yes.
yes, because your grandmother is asking that they come forward. She said they were closer.
Mm-hmm.
You were very close to your grandfather,
I
but
was.
your grandfather, he says that you were the apple of his eye.
Mm.
He used to walk he had a very specific way that he walked. It was almost like a shuffle as he got a little older, but not a shuffle, but he had a very distinctive walk. Do you remember that?
Um, I mean, I just remember him walking very slowly.
Yeah, it wasn't quite a shuffle, but he was very careful. He liked to put his hand in his one pocket. Do you remember that?
I do remember him doing that. He did like to do that.
It was just his thing. He's smiling and he kind of winks and nods his head and he dips it to the right a little when he does that.
Isn't it
Um,
funny when
Mm-hmm.
you remember those things? Like my grandfather, I never met him, but he was known for carrying a newspaper under his arm.
mhm.
And
Mm.
and that's how I identify him because if you remember Charles Lindbergh, that transatlantic flight,
Mm-hmm.
that grandfather, that grandfather was like the head of the police department in the town where the plane took off. And you see historic pictures when you see the dude standing there with a hat on and the newspaper under his arm. That's him.
That was him.
That's him. That's my grandfather.
Oh
But
my
that
gosh.
was his thing. So, Yvette, I guess yours is, he's always got his hand in his pocket.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, I know why your maternal grandmother came. Yvette, I'm going to offer you a free reading. She's got a message for your mother.
Hmm.
Okay.
That's why she came forward, and I don't want to talk about that on air. That's why now I understand. Your 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 uh paternal grandmother, um, what warm energy she has. She feels to me like a warm chocolate chip cookie. She feels like warm Christmas cookies.
Mm-hmm. That
Do
was
you
her.
remember her making her cookies? Like not chocolate chip, but do you remember her making cookies?
No, I don't.
Yeah, she used to make cookies and she didn't do them like she did not do a ton of cookies. Um, but she loved when you used to come visit.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it.
Hmm.
Do you remember when you used to fall asleep on the couch when you were a little girl, probably like 7 to 9, and she would put one of her blankets on you and they felt so heavy and warm?
No, I don't recall.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's the image she's showing me.
Mm.
And your grandfather used to sit in his one special chair. Do you remember his special chair that he used to sit in to watch television? They would watch their programs. They didn't
Yes,
call them
did have a special
shows.
chair.
Yeah, do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. And he had the light that was next to him, the lamp, and he would sit there every day. And she would sit, she always made sure he had his newspaper. Um, he wasn't a big reader, but there were certain things that he would look for. Your
Mm-hmm.
grandmother, on the other hand, um, she's showing me that she liked to look through like magazines or newspapers. She seemed to know a little bit about a lot of things. And she liked little recipes of things. She liked to learn how she's showing me, and I've seen this before, a woman named Heloise, Helpful Hints by Heloise. Um, it was a woman who would tell you how to clean things, how to get things, stains and things out. If
Okay.
you ask your mom about her, she'll
Mhm.
say, "Oh yes, I remember that grandmom used to know how to get stains and things." Your grandmother liked to have tablecloths
Mhm.
on things. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, she always used to
Yes.
like that. She wanted to protect the wood. And
Yes.
she did not, she liked to dust and stuff, but she knew how to get stains and things out. And she always made sure that she was after your grandfather to make sure, you know, that he didn't have wrinkled shirts and things like that. And he's kind of smiling. He's saying that she took such good care. These two were true lovebirds. They were, they were truly a yin and a yang, these two.
Hmm.
And they're saying that they feel like they were good role models as a married couple for you.
Mm.
Um, your grandfather's saying that you've really struggled. Um, you've gone through some losses. You've gone through some tough, difficult times, but he keeps calling you a real trooper. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely.
He says you are one tough cookie.
I agree.
He says you are he's funny. He suddenly I feel like I don't know if he ever served in the military. I feel like if he did, it was for a very short time. You know, like he would have served for the war and would have done, you know, his enlistment time.
Or some kind of military connection.
Exactly, because he's saying, because all of a sudden he's wearing like an old green army type uniform, and
Mm.
he's saying military type sayings to me that I understand. And he's saying, you come from good stock. He's saying, he's saying my granddaughter, she deserves a medal for all that she's gone through, and she's not recognized enough for all that she has accomplished. If anyone deserves a a
Recognition.
a recognition, and he's
Mhm.
calling it in the military, you can get when it comes in a blue folder and you get a medal with it, and it's a letter of, you can get accommodation, you can get
Mhm.
meritorious service medal. He's like, if anyone deserves a letter of accommodation, it's he isn't calling you a vet, he's calling you vet. Um, and then at one point he called you vetty. Did he ever
Mm.
call you something like that? 'Cause
Um,
he's
I
calling you
don't
that like
remember.
it's, yeah, he's calling you vetty. Um,
Okay.
and the first time he called you vet, um, as a term of endearment.
Mhm.
Um,
The military thing, I think maybe my uncle, which is his son, eldest son.
mhm. Did he serve?
Yes.
Was it in the army?
The Marines.
Okay, no wonder. No wonder he's claiming that. There is no other service, and I know because I served 20 years in uh, um, several branches. Um, there is no other branch that is more proud of their service, nor should be, than if you're a Marine. They are the toughest, they go through the toughest training. And once you're a Marine, you're always a Marine. Um, no wonder he's proud. No wonder he's
Mhm.
proud. As he should be. And he is showing me, um, and this makes sense because when I told you that you should get a medal, he was showing me, the very first medal that you ever get in the military, at least, since 2001, is, and for him, because for him, if your grandfather served, he would have served for that short period of time. It would have been for a time of war, would have been the National Defense Medal. You want to know what colors they are?
What color?
Red and yellow, red and yellow. And what are the Marine colors? Red and yellow.
Hello.
Hmm.
So your grandfather is going to send you, um, he keeps showing me, it makes sense. Okay. He's showing me, a star. Um, when you get a medal, there are certain medals
Mm-hmm.
and they're called mess dress, and they'll have that ribbon. So it would be like a red and yellow ribbon, and then down from it will be a round thing, and it'll sometimes have a star. You're gonna start seeing, he's calling you a star. He's like, she's almost like a bronze star, this girl,
Hmm.
because you've been through a personal war. Does that make sense to you? Because he said you've won your personal wars, you've won every battle. And he's
Yeah.
saying some days you feel like the war's not over, but you've won every battle. Does that make sense to you?
100%.
Okay.
We're just
He's,
about out of time, so I want to say that um, we'll connect you,
Okay.
Shannon,
yes,
with Yvette offline here at some point, and you can share the message for her mom.
oh, yeah. Yeah, because you definitely, that's why the first grandmother came through.
Hmm.
I made,
Okay.
as soon as she stepped back, I understood why she came through the way she came through. But you're gonna you're gonna start seeing stars in red and yellow from your grandfather.
Okay.
All right.
You're
All
like an
right. Well, thank you
honorary
so
Marine.
much.
Yeah.
Uh,
Super
yeah,
cool.
See you again.
Thanks, Yvette.
yes, and
I thank you, Steve.
Steve will give you my contact and he'll give me yours if that's okay, and I'm gonna reach out to you and give you a free Zoom reading with the recording.
Very cool. I feel that there's once she starts thinking about all of this,
Oh, it's all gonna connect. When
and
she talks to her mom, the grandmother's gonna make sense.
and also she was quite young around the
Mhm.
time of her grandmother. So a lot of that stuff, even me, my grandmother passed when I was about the same age, actually. Around 14 to 16. I'd have to sit there and I saw my grandmother a lot. I'd have to sit there and think like, did she do that? Like I need a moment. Like it's just like, and then when you do, like these things come back. But when you're on the fly like that, it's hard to,
When you're nervous, you're on a national thing and, you're with Steve Harper. I mean, that would make me nervous. I remember the first time I was on and honestly, I've been doing ancestry for 8 years with my sister Sean Marie. And I still am finding out. I just reconnected with my second cousins, and I'm still finding out things about my grandparents on both sides that
mm,
astound me. And, I'm like, what? Every time I talk to Jimmy and Jerry, I'm like, what? No, come on. And I was extremely close to both sets. And I'm still
it's
stunned.
even as we're sitting here, I'm thinking of my grandmother and what you said to Yvette. I remember when I was much younger, sitting on the bed and my head in her lap and her just like kind of rubbing my head. She might have been on the phone, talking to my aunt or something like that. But that was the most comfortable, serene moments that I would just fall asleep like,
Yeah.
So I get it, but I didn't get it. I've completely forgotten about that in my life until you said that to that. And then it just came
Yeah.
back as well. How do
Yeah.
we find you, Shannon?
You can go on to Facebook and Instagram. Just look for Shannon Dee Sees. And you can always contact my awesome cousin Jen, who is, last I heard, I think she's cliff diving with a kayak or something. I heaven knows. She is all over. She is just amazing and well-deserved vacations this summer.
Cool.
You can connect with her through and book at 215-680-7693. You can text, you can call her, whatever you want to do. And next week, we'll be releasing that Squarespace Acuity self-scheduling website too. So if you work night shift or just want to go on and take care of it, you can do
Sure.
that way.
Fabulous. Thank you for today.
Awesome.
And just makes us think. Lots of stuff there. And we'll catch up soon, okay?
We sure will. Great to
Appreciate it.
see you again, Steve.
You too. We'll be right
Bye.
back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.